Hi everyone. So I said I would come on today and I would talk to you about calculating your calories and how you work out how much you should be eating in the course of the day. So the first thing that you're going to do whenever I help you calculate your number is you're going to say inside your own mind, that's way too high. And I'll tell you why you're going to think the number's too high. You're going to think the number is too high because I am quite sure that historically figures like 1,000 calories, 1,100 calories, 1,200 calories have been run past you. No one is going to have said to you that you can actually lose weight eating 1,600 calories, 1,700 calories, 1,800 calories. But the reality is that the calorie number is going to be higher than you think in your mind. So we're going to have a little bit of a brain game going on here, and you're just going to have to trust me. And this is why I have made the decision here to do this 12-week program so that you can try things out. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm just going to ask you to trust the process for the next 30 days. So if you get to the end of the 30 days and it's not working out for you, then you can go back to the way that you've dieted in the past, or you can just scrap it. It's up to you. But I'm going to put this to you. If you've ever dieted in the past and then you've put the weight back on again, then the diet that you were on was not sustainable. Whenever I give you the calories here, this is sustainable, and I'll tell you how sustainable it is. I basically eat the same amount of calories every day, give or take, I eat the same number of calories over the course of a week. Give or take maybe a couple of hundred calories here and there. And I have been roughly the same weight since I was about 20. I have gained extra weight when I've been pregnant, and I did a figure competition once as well where I honed right in and made sure that I was super lean. I didn't feel particularly healthy whenever I was at that stage, but I did that, so I've gone down as well. So I actually went down to I think about 119 pounds for someone who feels fit and healthy at 135 pounds. So my ideal weight, or my perfect weight, not necessarily from an aesthetics point of view, but from a how I feel point of view. And I always put feeling over aesthetics. If I feel good, then chances are my body's going to look pretty good as well whenever I look at that in the mirror. So I'm always about 135 pounds. I'm 5 feet 8 inches tall, and that puts me at a dress size 4 to 6 if I'm in the US, 8 to 10 if I'm in the UK. And that's the perfect size for me. It's where I feel healthy, it's where I feel fit, and it's where I perform at my best. But we are all different. So that's why you have to look at what your own ideal weight is, and then you calculate your calories based on that. All right, so let's get these notes here so that I don't forget anything. Stage number one, or step number one, let's talk about how you calculate your calories. It is really easy. Take your ideal weight and then multiply that by 12. So I know that my ideal weight now is 135 pounds. If I multiply that number by 12, it takes me to 1,620 calories a day. Now, I eat slightly more than that. I eat about 1,800 to 2,000 calories. The reason that I do that is because I shift a lot of weights. The weight that you see me lifting in the videos is the weight that I'm using for the videos. When I go to the gym, my bench press, for an example, varies between 100 and 140 pounds, and my back squat goes up to, or my normal squat is 160 pounds to 200 pounds. My deadlift is over 300 pounds. So I lift heavy weight, and because I do that and I work out as regularly as I do, the number of calories that I consume on a daily basis is a lot higher. But if I'm taking it at my how I maintain just a normal body weight, etc., then what I do is I take the number, the ideal body weight, and I multiply that by 12. So as I said, take your ideal body weight, whatever that is. If it's 175 pounds, you multiply it by 12. If it's 140 pounds, you multiply it by 12. and that gives you the number of calories that you should be eating in a day. Now, I don't want you to overthink this. If you are currently, for example, 185 pounds and your goal weight is 135 pounds, I don't want you going straight down to the 1620 calories to take you right there, because that might be too much for you. You can do it and it will get you the quickest results. And let's be frank, 1620 calories isn't that low a number if you're eating a nice balanced diet. But what you can do is you can go midway. So instead of going from, say, 185 pounds, saying my ideal weight is 135 and I'm going straight there, what you can do is you can say, right, I'm going to go in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take say 165 pounds first. So I'm going to aim for 185 down to 165 and calculate your times 12 by that 165 to begin with. You can then do that for a month. Once you get to a month, based on where you're at, you can then go down and you can do this gradually. I find that when people lose too much weight too quickly, it's a recipe for disaster because it hasn't created healthy habits. What you end up doing is you end up going, yes, I've lost 10 pounds and now I'm going to celebrate. And before you know it, you've celebrated for 2 weeks and you put the 10 pounds back on again. But if you keep coming down in small increments, your weight will just drop a little bit, maybe stabilise, drop a little bit, and then 3 months, 4 months down the line, you'll find that you're a different shape, that you're lighter in weight, and it hasn't been that difficult a job. So don't set yourself up for failure from word go. Do this in a sustainable, slow manner, and you'll get to where you want to be. And if you're mixing this with lifting the weights and you're building the muscle, you'll not just see the number shifting on the scale, you'll actually start to see the change in your body. You'll see the muscles building up here in your chest, you'll be developing the biceps and the shoulders, your butt will lift up, you'll start to get that nice curve round about your belly area as well. You'll probably notice that your hamstrings are coming in. So it's so much better to do it in that sustainable way whilst you're also building muscle, because you will notice the changes. And this is why I have been going on and on about taking pictures and also putting everything into that tracker that I gave you, because you can start there to measure how you're feeling. You can look at what you're eating. You can say, okay, I ate this today and I feel good for eating this, or I didn't eat enough, or I ate too much fat, or I didn't eat enough carbs, because we do need carbs in our body. So track them and take the pictures. So where am I at now? So calculate the results. But you'll basically see why I'm not advocating that a one diet fits all. So if I said to you straight away, right, let's go in, we're all going to do 1200 calories. 1200 calories is likely to be way too low for a lot of you. So you don't want to do it that way. Pick your ideal weight. If your ideal weight is like 50 pounds away from where you're at the moment, pick a midway number and aim for that midway number first. Always remember that you don't have an end in sight here. This is about changing the way that you eat, changing your lifestyle, changing the way that you work out so that you can become a fitter and healthier person. And trust me, as you go through this process and you start to see the muscle and you start to see the fat going, it has a shift in your mindset too. You just become a much more confident person with it. So there we go, that's what we're gonna do. So just, and again, so I talk about my own 135 pounds. Whenever I was younger, my goal weight was 118 pounds, and I have gotten down to 118, 119 pounds, and I honestly did feel really bad, which is another one of the reasons that you want to take that midway point, because you might find that you feel healthier and fitter at a slightly higher weight than the one you've got in your mind as your goal weight. I felt terrible at 118, 119 pounds. I felt lethargic. I felt flat in my body generally. My hair wasn't in good condition, my skin wasn't in good condition, I was moody, I was grouchy, it affected my relationships. I wasn't performing at my best from a work level as well because I just didn't really have the energy. So go midway first and see where you're at. Right, so next step, number 2. So we've calculated a number of calories that you should be eating in the course of a day. Step number 2, calculate your range. So if your goal weight is that 135 pounds and you calculate your calories at 1620 calories per day, which is your goal weight multiplied by 12, you then want to set yourself a daily range, and that daily range should be plus or minus. So your range then would be 1520 to 1720. We're not competing for figure competitions here or bikini competitions. So if you go an extra 5 calories or 10 calories below or above, it is not the end of the world. However, if you consistently eat, say, 200 calories over and above your highest range, so in this case it would be the 1720. If you're consistently eating 1900 calories, then you're not going to get the results that you want, and you might not lose anything, and then you're going to become despondent, and then you're going to say, hey Chernovsky, your stinky system doesn't work. Well, Chernovsky's stinky system does work, but it works if you eat within the calorie ranges. If you decide to eat, instead of 1720 calories a day, if you decide that that's going to be 1900 calories or 2000 calories, then it's not going to work because you're not eating within your calorie range or you're not being consistent. So where did we get to? Oh yes, what did I write down here? At the top of my paper here it says consistency is key. Consistency is absolutely 100% key. And once you get to that place of calculating the right number of calories that work for you, you'll start to know what that looks like on a plate. So you'll know when you go out for dinner. So take me, for example, we go to a Mexican restaurant on a regular basis. I deconstruct, I think is the word that everyone uses nowadays. I deconstruct it. So the first thing I say is, I'll have the burrito, but I actually don't want the wrap that goes on the burrito, so you can keep the burrito. What I will have though is I will have the shredded chicken that's inside that wrap. I'll have the beans, I'll have the rice, I'll have the peppers, I'll have the guac, I'll have the salsa. I don't eat dairy, so I don't have that at all, but I'll have that, and then I might have a few of the chips on the side, because I know that if I have all of that, then that's going to fit within my macros. And let's face it, what's wrong with having all of that? Why do I have to stuff my face with the burrito and all the dairy, or not have any of the chips, or eat the whole bucket of chips? You don't. You can have everything that you want. You just don't want to stuff your face with it all. And trust me, at the number of calories that I eat in a day, I can put down a vast quantity of food. I can eat my 180 calorie Mars bar if I want. I can have I don't drink very much, but I could have my 150 calorie glasses of wine if I wanted. I would just then stick to all my protein and maybe cut back on some of the carbs. So it's not that difficult, and as we go through the process, I'll show you how it all fits together. The important thing for you at this stage is calculating how many calories you should have per day and what the range is either way. So where are we at? So as I said, if you stick to this, so if you calculate those calories and you stick to them for a month, the statistics say that you will lose between 1 and 3% of your body weight. So for somebody starting at 175 pounds, with the goal that I said earlier on, over the course of the 30 days, you will, in a slow, controlled manner, without starving yourself, lose somewhere between 4 to 6 pounds, and you won't feel that it's been an absolute burden to get there. If you lose less than 1%, you've been kidding yourself on somewhere along the lines. So I'm going to ask you to reduce your calories slightly more. If you've lost more than 3%, then you're not eating enough, and you can add in maybe an extra 150 calories a day so that you get to that 1 to 3%. Remember that everything is a calorie. So that tablespoonful of oil that you stick in the mornings if you're scrambling your eggs, anything you steal off your kid's plate, the cookie that you grab when you're in the office, they're all extra calories. So you do have to be very cognizant of what you're putting into your body, and just stop. So anytime you go to do it, just stop and say to yourself, how many calories am I about to put in my body? I know it sounds like a pain in the neck, but I bet you track everything else in your life. I bet if you've got kids, you're tracking what they're eating. If you're going to work, you're tracking the number of hours that you do. If you're delivering for a client, you're tracking the amount of time that you spend doing that as well. So why not track what you put in your body? You wouldn't turn up at the petrol station, fill up your car, get it to full, and then just say, I'm just going to let this run for another couple of minutes with the petrol all spilling down the sides of your car. So why are you going to do it to your body? Treat your body the same way that you would treat your car. So in other words, be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. If you want the results, stick to the number of calories that I've told you to stick to. I guarantee it's not a small amount of calories. And when we get on to the next stage and we talk about protein, you'll see just how much you can put in your body in that calorie range that you've given yourself. Next page, there is a calculator on my website. I will put the link for you where you can go in and you can fill it in, and it will actually give you how many calories you should be eating per day, and it will break that down as well to show you what that should be in the way of protein, carbohydrates and fat. So it's all there. Tick, and unless you are on your feet and running around all day, you're going to be ticking the sedentary button there. I know you're going to say, but Virginia, I work out every day and I'm on my feet. I hear you. There is a button for you to tick how many workouts that you do. So the button that you tick if you've got a desk-bound job is sedentary, okay? I know you don't want to say that, you don't want to think that you're spending a lot of your time in a chair, but you actually are. So get the numbers right. The numbers might not be exactly the same as the calculation, but they'll not be too far off. You can use that calculator and you can stick with the numbers that it's giving you. It's fairly accurate. Feel free to take a screenshot of it and send it to me if you want me to check and make sure that you're in the right place. I'm happy to do that for you. Right, now we're going to calculate the protein, and this is where you're going to have an absolute meltdown with me, because you're just going to look and think, how the hell am I supposed to eat that amount of protein per day? I'm also going to put the disclaimer in right now, or my disclaimer. You must speak to your doctor and make sure that your doctor's giving you the sign off and that you've got no health issues when it comes to increasing your protein levels. So you just have to go and check that out. I'm going to tell you that I did this with my father. My father was very, very overweight. And he'd just been diagnosed as having type 2 diabetes. So he was mortified at this because he built himself a really nice house a few years ago. It's a split level house over 2.5 stories. He built it, he built the house. It's his pride and joy. So when he discovered that he had type 2 diabetes, he immediately realised that he could possibly, if he carried on going down this route, not be able to walk in a few years. So it was a major kick up his butt. Also the fact that he came to visit me, and even in business class couldn't get the seatbelt to go round about him properly in a comfortable way because he was so large. So we decided that we would have a little go with his diet and his exercise, and he's basically done what I'm having you guys do here. Over the course of just over a year, My dad reversed his diabetes. He now drinks a massive amount of water every day. He's still a large man, but he drinks a massive amount of water every day, and he eats loads and loads of protein. He's got I sent him his protein shakes and his protein bars as well, so that he keeps up with it. But yeah, go to your doctor and get sign off, and just make sure that there's no issues. Right, here we go. Let us calculate your protein. So multiply your goal body weight by 1. Yep, you heard me. So if your goal body weight is 135 pounds, then the number you get is 135 times 1, which equals 135 grams of protein a day. I eat close to 140 grams of protein per day. Don't go straight to this number. This is another thing that I want you to build up over the course of the next few weeks. And the reason I say that is because if I was a gambling man, I would estimate that the vast majority of you are getting somewhere in the region of 50 grams of protein into your body per day. That's a very small amount of protein. Getting in the protein is one of the keys here. It helps with your energy level, it helps with your estrogen levels, which are declining rapidly as we age, and it also helps with your muscle. So yeah, calculate what that is. But yes, if you're currently on about 50 grams of protein, and I'm asking you to increase that protein to 135 grams, you could get very, very constipated and also cause yourself a little bit of an issue in processing that. So go easy, increase it week by week, and see how you feel. So as I said, calculate what you normally eat in a day. I think it'll be around about 50 grams, and then go from there, increase it slowly. You must eat more fibre, and you must drink between 2 and 2.5 litres of water a day. You need to be processing this protein and flushing it out through your body. You need the fibre, which you'll get from all of your fruit and vegetables. You need the fibre to help you process and digest it and get it through your system, and the water as well. So make sure that you're getting in your fibre, and make sure that you're getting in your water as well whenever you're eating that amount of that amount of protein. The more protein that you eat, you will notice the weight loss, and you will notice that you're not so hungry. It fills you up. First thing I do in the morning, I am not a morning eater. I do not enjoy eating in the morning at all. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is I drink between 1/2 and 1 litre of water. I will then after that have a scoop of protein. I just have plain protein. I don't put anything in it because I like to keep my calories for the food that I'm going to enjoy. So I'll have about 25 grams of protein mixed in water first thing in the morning, and I just down that after I've had my water, and then I go and brush my teeth so that I get rid of the taste of it. If anyone says to you, you shouldn't be having all of that protein powder because it's so processed, I can tell you that they will be having so much in their diet every day that's processed. Your cinnamon powder that you've got is processed. All of your flours that you're buying, unless you're standing in the kitchen and you've got 28 hours in a day to grind up all your own flours, everything that flour, as in almond flour, coconut flour, all of that stuff that you're buying that's in a can, that's in a bag, that comes from the shop, it's been processed in some way, shape or form. Your fruit and vegetables have all had stuff on them. They've had some kind of spray, that everything has in some way, shape or form been processed. So if anyone says to you, don't take protein powder because it's processed, tell them to go and take a large crap, okay? There are so many other things that you'll be putting in your body that are processed too. There is a means to an end here. This is to help you build your muscle. It's to help you get your body to where you want to be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the protein powder. I wouldn't take the ones that have meal replacements. I don't take the ones that have got fillers in them, and I don't take them with sugar in them. But I will have different kinds of protein, and I will do another video at some point in time on the protein as well. So the more protein you use, yep, you're going to lose your weight, blah de blah de blah. Calculating your carbohydrates and your fat. There's two ways that you can do this, that you can follow along here. You can calculate the calories and you can calculate your protein, and then you can just get that in a day. So you get your protein and you get your the rest of your food, and you just eat it so that you get to your, if it's 135 pounds, you get to your 1620, and you aim to eat the protein. Try to get the protein first. So you can be having your protein powder. So I'll just tell you what I would have in the morning. I'll have my protein powder. When I get into the office, I will usually have 4 egg whites, and I will then have a bowl of oatmeal. Into the oatmeal, I will put flaxseed, cinnamon and blueberries, and I then usually have a green juice because that's what I like. Lunchtime for me today, I'm going out and I'm going to be having a steak sandwich, but I'm not a big lover of shop-bought bread, and I know that shop-bought bread on where I'm going, so I will dissect that and I'll have that with avocado and salad. I have already had a bag of fruit gummies this morning. It was a mini bag of fruit gummies, but hey, it was still a bag of fruit gummies because that's what I wanted. And I dare say I'll have something sweet chocolatey in the afternoon before I go in and have everything else. But that just gives you an idea of what I've had in the morning. So you can do it, as I said, you can calculate your protein, 135 grams, calories 1620, and you aim for that. Alternatively, you can break it down into the carbohydrates, the fat and the protein. So for me now, given that I've done this for such a long time and I know from what's on my plates, I eat roughly 40% protein, 30% fat, 30% carbohydrate. If you go into my website and you go into the macro calculator that I'm telling you about, that will break it down for you. So you will see on that, it will give you the calories, and it will also give you the amount of protein, the amount of fat, and the amount of carbohydrate that you should be eating. So I'm going to stop here for now. What we'll do tomorrow is we'll look at calculating this. So we'll do it together, we'll calculate it together, and I'll also show you how you track it, and we'll take a look at what this looks like in terms of a plate of food. But that's all for now. So what I want you to do is I want you to go away and I want you to calculate how many calories you should be eating to reach your goal weight. If your goal weight is 50 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds away, then I want you to get a midpoint rather than going straight there. And then calculate the amount of protein, and then I want you to have that with your tracker, so you know that every day you're going to be eating X number of calories or an X number, sorry, there's someone calling me, let me get rid of that, X number of protein, and then we'll work on that basis to get you to where you need to be. And we'll also talk about like taking that number and adding it up over the course of the week so that you can do what I do, which is basically stick pretty much to my macros, maybe slightly lower in my macros Monday through to Thursday, and then allow myself Friday, Saturday and Sunday to eat slightly more. It works if you do it that way as well. All right guys, you know where I am. Any questions, shout, put them in the comments, DM me. I'll keep a list of all the questions and I'll come back on Saturday with answers to all of those as well. See you later. Happy calculating.